We know already that, according to pure SIP, subsequent requests like the ACK and the BY go direct between endpoints, bypassing any midway servers on the initial signaling path. How does that work in inter-domain calls, and why? Yes, that's the topic of this lesson. By the time we're done, you should understand how it is that subsequent requests go direct between endpoints, bypassing midway servers, even in an inter-domain scenario. During the lesson, you'll see how the route set continues to play an important part in routing subsequent requests. Take a look at this. User Agent 1 sends an invite to its domain server, including its own address in the via header, so the downstream proxy knows where to route responses, and in its contact address, so the far end user agent knows where to send subsequent requests. Receiving the invite, Proxy 1 adds its own via header and, probably after a DNS lookup, proxies the request downstream. Proxy 2 adds its via header, does a registry lookup, and proxies the invite to the phone. At this point, the downstream phone creates a route set and stores in it the contact address of the upstream user agent client. Accepting the call, it creates a 200 OK, copying in all the via headers from the invite, but adding its own address as the contact header before routing the response upstream. On processing the response, each entity strips off its own via header, leaving the contact address untouched. The upstream user agent client then creates its route set, copying in the contact address of the downstream user agent server. Then, when either party need to send a subsequent request, like the ACK, they simply copy the address from its route set into the outgoing request URI, routing the request directly to the other client's contact address, bypassing any midway servers. Now, the same is true for a downstream BY, the request URI set with the caller's contact address from the user agent's route set. So, why are subsequent requests routed direct? Well, after having performed DNS and SIP registry location for the request as it travels downstream, they've both done their job. Between them, they've located the callee and have enabled both parties to exchange each other's contact addresses. That done, they're not needed anymore, and so drop out of the signaling path. So, in summary, subsequent requests in multi-domain calls are still routed direct between endpoint user agents. They're sent to the contact address stored in the user agent's route set, the retrieved address being set in the request URI. Why direct? Well, from a SIP perspective, the servers have performed their location task. They've enabled both parties to exchange contact addresses, meaning they can now route requests direct. The servers are no longer needed.